Hi, I'm Paddycake, and this is my best friend, Brent. We've been besties for a while now, and one of the things we bonded over was our shared love of Madlibs. On Christmas a few years ago, Brent pitched the idea to me to create a show where we use AI art to accentuate the humor of Madlibs. 3 weeks later, we started filming, and we haven't stopped since. Through this project, we hope to share our weird humor and to highlight both the unexpected beauty and complete absurdity of AI-generated art. Welcome to MIdJourney Madlibs. Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, please come in, make yourself at home. My name is Paddycake. Welcome to Paddycake Games and another episode of MIdJourney Madlibs. With me, as always, is my best friend, my co-host, Brent. How are you doing tonight?
Better than I expected.
That's good.
I threw out my pack, and I was like walking around like a cripple most of the day last night, and I took a lot of pain pills.
That would be my suggestion. Pain pills and ice. All right, well, we're not going to waste any time. You guys know how this works. We send each other Madlibs. We send each other the answers to go into those Madlibs. We then take the sentences. We run them through MIdJourney. We create a series of art. We get together. We share it with each other, and we laugh. And that's the show, and we hope you like it. If you do like it, look down below the video. There's a button just for you. It's a thumbs up button. It just means you'll like it. And if you're clicking on that, if you look right next to it, there's a button called subscribe. That'll really help out the channel if you click on that. And then, if you want to be super thorough, you can ring the notification bell. That lets you know when new videos get posted to the channel. And then, if you want to look in the description, there is a link to a Discord. Come and join the Discord. We have a wonderful growing community of people who are fans of the channel. We'd love to meet you. Come by and say hi. Brent, it's Monday. That means you're up first. And I am very anxious to see what this is going to be.
My Madlib tonight is called Plight of the Protocol Droid. And this one is in the style of Tim Burton films and IKEA instructions. Tim Burton, born on August 25th, 1958 in Burbank, California, is a celebrated filmmaker, artist, and animator known for his distinctive visual style and imaginative storytelling. He developed a passion for drawing and filmmaking at a young age, which led him to study at the California Institute of Arts. Burton began his career as an animator at Walt Disney Studios, working on projects like The Fox and the Hound and The Black Cauldron. However, his unique creative vision soon propelled him into directing his own films. Burton's breakthrough came with the dark comedy Beetlejuice in 1988, followed by the critical and commercial success of Batman and Edward Scissorhands. His work often blends gothic elements with quirky, whimsical touches, creating a surreal and instantly recognizable aesthetic. This style is characterized by a few key elements. Gothic and dark fantasy. Burton's films frequently explore gothic themes, featuring dark, moody atmospheres and settings reminiscent of old horror films. This is evident in movies like Sleepy Hollow and Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Also, he's known for his quirky characters. Burton's characters are often outsiders or misunderstood individuals, embodying a sense of otherness. This is seen in iconic characters like Edward Scissorhands, Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas, and the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland. Also known for his stylized visuals, his visual style includes exaggerated shapes, stark contrasts, and a limited color palette, often incorporating black and white. This can be seen in the angular, twisted architecture of Beetlejuice and the vibrant, surreal landscapes of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He's also known for his frequent collaborations. Burton often works with a recurring ensemble of actors and creative partners, including Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, whom he also married, and composer Danny Elfman. These collaborations have helped define the unique tone and atmosphere of his films. Throughout his career, Tim Burton has definitely left his mark on cinema with his imaginative worlds and deeply personal storytelling. His films not only entertain, but also invite audiences into a unique realm where the dark and the whimsical coexist in perfect harmony. So now enjoy this exciting Madlib in the style of a Tim Burton movie. I am C-3PO. I'm not going to do the accent. Oh, to be a protocol droid. Where do I escape? Oh.
that pretty much explains C-3PO's entire outlook on the world. It's like, how do I escape being me?
Because everything crappy happens to me. My role is clear. I am to blink at my leader, Luke Food Truck Walker, and aid him when necessary.
Oh God, is that Luke?
I think that's him blinking or not blinking.
Yeah, because he doesn't really have eyelids. Of course, C-3PO doesn't have eyes or eyelids. I mean, he has things that resemble eyes.
It's reminiscent of C-3PO,
yeah,
but
it's also reminiscent of Abe from Oddworld, if you're familiar with that.
And also, there was a movie where all of the things were like they were made out of gunny sacks or something. Nine. Yeah.
Great film.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that too.
Absolutely.
His shirt.
It reminds me of the one that projected images from its eyes. I think that was 6. 6 could do that.
I pride myself on being fluent in over 28 forms of communication.
Oh, you're so useful. All 28 in a galaxy.
That's 28's a decent number. I mean,
for
there's
one,
probably not a lot of people on Earth. But
for one planet, but not for like intergalactic species. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I pride myself on being fluent in over 28 forms of communication and am well versed on the pressures of being a Jedi architect.
Oh, okay. Well,
I got a lot of Yodas.
Oh, I can imagine. It's interesting that it's on a spiral notebook. So it's like a sketch. Like an architect sketch.
This is the only one like that, too.
It's interesting. Architect probably set that off because it looks like an architectural sketch. So it works. It also kind of looks like Yoda is, sitting in a little floating thing that he rides in or something.
Oh, that Grogu has.
Yeah, like Grogu.
Or did Yoda have one like that too?
I don't think so, but I mean,
okay.
Grogu and Yoda are the same race, so perhaps Yoda had one at one
I
point.
also got a whole bunch of giant-sized Yodans, or we don't know what their race is called, but like they looked like Yoda, but they were much larger.
Well, I mean, if we think of this as an actual architectural sketch, that Yoda is extraordinarily large. So,
well,
it fits.
Yeah, but I was thinking of him like superimposed. Like this is the thing that he built. I could use my fingernails to implode, or perhaps even to prepare snack cakes. But that is not my main programming.
Well, he's certainly... God, why does he have fingers coming out of his face? That's really disturbing.
Well, I mean, it is a different type of robot droid thing. It also has cake roses on it, which I think is kind of cute.
That's actually... It's nicely decorated. He has little icing roses all over him. And he's leaking... We're going to say that's chocolate syrup.
Who do you think I am? Bottle Binks?
Bottle Binks. Wow. He's really weird looking.
So, I did not say anything about Star Wars or C-3PO or anything.
Binks. I mean, come on.
Put that one sentence, and yes, I got so many creatures that were reminiscent of Jar Jar.
Yeah.
That it was funny.
It's the word
just
Binks. Yeah, Binks will do that, I'm sure.
I take my stranger very seriously and birth myself to the highest standard.
Oh, okay. Wait, what? What? What is happening in this picture? It's very hard to understand. Oh, wait. Okay, I see. What is happening? Like, I can't even figure out how C-3PO is sitting. It's like...
Yeah, some of his legs are going in weird angles, and then there's that thing in the middle sticking out.
Yeah, and then the cloaked figure in black, which looks kind of feminine, is kind of wrapped around him. And so he's like sitting in her lap, possibly.
It reminds me a lot of the Pietà.
Okay.
Where Mary is holding Jesus, and he's bleeding, and he's dead, and that it looks sort of like that to me. I've even been known to rejoice an old tire if needed.
Redneck C-3PO hanging out in his backyard.
I like
sitting
it.
in the
It's
old
like-
tire.
It's desert tubing, you know. Instead of an inner tube, you get on a tire, and then you get on the top of a dune and you slide down. I
That
mean,
actually sounds fun. We should try that sometime.
I think it's actually a thing too.
I'm sure it is.
My occupation, though fierce as can be, rewards me every day.
This reminds me of like the Hope pictures, or
Yeah, it looks like, or I mean, the Hope ones, or even like propaganda of things
like
from
Che Guevara, or
China
something.
or Korea, even like what I'm wearing.
I can't see what you're wearing.
Join the empire.
Okay.
I wouldn't trade it for both the spoons of Tatooine.
All two of the spoons. They don't eat much soup there. That is actually a really cute rendition of C-3PO.
It's definitely got some Tim Burton influence on
Absolutely,
it, for sure.
absolutely. That's very Tim Burton Star Wars. I see that. And he's got the two spoons, both spoons of Tatooine, right there in front of him.
Well,
and they're
those
attached
spoons are
to.
going to come back to haunt us for sure.
Yeah, they're probably magnetic or something because they're just sort of attached to that cup.
Here we go with some honorable, dishonorable mentions. Some of them are great. I love these. This one here is
Food truck.
Luke Food Truck Walker.
It looks like the top, like on the front of the car, there's like little cupcakes
Kinda
and stuff.
cupcakes.
And he's holding a box that looks like it has muffins or something in it.
But
And then,
I
and then,
actually
then there's two
dig
guys
his
in the
whole
car.
look.
There's two guys in the truck that are shaking hands right at the window.
They're shaking hands with danger.
Down.
Alrighty, what's next? Oh, I think this is. Oh yes, I pride myself on being fluent in over 28 forms of communication and am well versed on the pressures of being a Jedi architect.
That's cute.
I absolutely love this.
That-
I thought it came out so great.
This reminds me of, what was that artist we had? Well, actually, it reminds me a little bit of MC Escher.
This one building looks very much like R2D2. He's got this little Death Star over there. He's got another little Death Star over there. It looks like he maybe has some failed attempts at blowing up planets or moons with Death Star up there. I don't know. It's really cool.
He also, it kind of looks like child Darth Vader, and this is his playset.
Yeah.
Because he looks very, very, not shrunken, but like squished, like a kid.
Yeah.
He has childlike proportions.
Here's another architect one, and I just absolutely loved this. I
That's
had more
pretty
than
cool.
one in the same vein, but I could totally see this in that Star Wars universe with the weird steps and like here you go up some stairs and then you climb a little ladder.
Because the whole thing is built inside a natural cave, so they have to work
Or
with
an
what
asteroid.
they have. Or an asteroid or something. So they have to work with the proportions they're given and the passageways that are already there, so they make use of it. It makes sense.
And then there's like a little Death Star-ish thing. I don't know. And then there's a skeleton. Yeah.
Because no cave is complete without a skeleton.
We got our fingernails again to to implode or perhaps even to prepare snack cakes.
Oh,
That is not my main programming.
oh God! Why did I give you those words? I should have known this was going to happen.
I'm pretty sure that this is edible.
It does look
But-
edible. I don't want to eat it though.
I wouldn't trade it for both the spoons of Tatooine. And I included
Also,
this one also
looks like-
because
looks like IKEA. Yep, looks like IKEA.
But I love
instructions.
how that's all I put. I wouldn't trade it for both the spoons of Tatooine, but Tatooine was enough for it to give me
Star Wars
all these
looking
Star
droid
Wars
things,
looking
yeah.
things mixed
And
with everyday items.
You know what this looks like? This looks like the first sheet of the IKEA instructions that tell you what comes in the box. Oh, why?
I can
Why
use
did
my fingernails to implode.
I can't even look at that. That's so horrifying, and I love it. I love it. Don't get me wrong, but it's horrifying.
Yeah.
And it's in a spiral notebook.
Yes.
That's so strange.
That's another reason why I put it in here. But the whole thing with the eyes looking at you, and it's
And
like
then-
like a Necronomicon or something that's made from
Yes, absolutely.
like, human parts
absolutely.
or something. Oh, it is.
It's creepy.
I'm gonna leave you right there because I mean, I think I've traumatized y'all enough.
Well, that was great. But I hear Lady Shablagoo is coming by to scare us again.
Yeah, and she might be howling at the moon.
Oh, my. And now, Southern Fried Scary Tales with Lady Shablagoo.
This is the true story of the Beast of Bladenborough. Some parts of this story have graphic imagery and descriptions. Viewer discretion is advised. This content may not be suitable for all fans.
Well, hello darlings. Now it's time to get serious. This story takes place in and around the small town of Bladenborough in southern North Carolina, about an hour west of Wilmington and an hour and a half north of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. My, what a lovely place Myrtle Beach is. But in the early winter of 1953 and 1954, Bladenborough was not a lovely place, especially if you were a dog. It all started on December 29th, 1953, near Clockton, North Carolina, just about 10 miles down Highway 211 from Bladenborough, where one lady reported hearing her dog's whimpering on her porch and seeing a large, dark-colored beast slinking away in the darkness. And not far away, a man reported a similar beast killed his dog. Then, 2 nights later, on New Year's Eve, Bladenborough resident Johnny Voss reported that a lot of blood was found near his dog's kennel, and his dogs were torn into ribbons and crushed. He went on to say,
My dogs put up a good fight. There was blood all over the porch, big puddles of it, and there was a pool of saliva on the porch. It killed one dog at 10:30 and left it lying there. My dad wrapped the dog up in a blanket. That thing came back and got that dog, and nobody's seen the dog since. At 1:30 in the morning, it came back and killed the other dog and took it off. We found it 3 days later in a hedgerow. The top of one of the dog's heads was torn off, and its body was crushed and wet, like it had been in that thing's mouth.
My!
The other dog's lower jaw was torn off.
Over the next 2 days, New Year's Day and January 2nd of 1954, 3 more farms lost a combined 5 dogs to the beast. There was an autopsy performed on one of the dogs, and the report read, there wasn't more than 2 or 3 drops of blood in him, and went on to say the victim's bottom lip had been broken open and his jawbone smashed back. More brutal killings were reported over the next several days, including a decapitated bunny that was still warm when found. Another dead dog was discovered in a pasture near a swamp, and they even came across a dead goat with its head flattened. What was doing all of this? Descriptions varied, but a large wildcat, a coyote, a wolf, and even a bear were among the descriptions provided by witnesses. Tracks discovered near the attacks and the sounds of the beast moving through vegetation provided clues to its size, which witnesses guessed to be between 80 and 150 pounds. Many said it was dark with a bushy tail, and others caught glimpses of stripes. Then it tried to attack a person. On January 5th, 1954, the same day the poor headless rabbit was found, the beast was caught attacking a dog in broad daylight, but ran away before it could do damage. 2 sets of tracks found nearby that attack, the large ones that we're used to seeing, and a set of similar but smaller ones. That same evening, a woman, Aileen Kinlaw, encountered what she believed was a big mountain lion near some dogs about 3 houses away. It began running toward her, but veered off and fled when she began screaming. Ladies and gentlemen, screaming is a valid form of defense in some cases. And speaking of screaming, what did people say the beast sounded like? Well, young Dalton Norton said he saw a big cat on his porch making sounds like a baby crying before leaving. And he wasn't the only one to report that the creature made crying baby sounds. That just sounds plain spooky if you ask me. The hunts for the beast began on January 4th. First night, just about 6 brave youths and another group of officers led by Police Chief Roy Forbes went out. The next night, more than 500 people and dogs stalked the woods and swamps nearby. 800 people turned out on the 6th of January. In the night of the 7th, a possible 1,000 gathered to hunt the creature, more than the population of the whole town of Bladenborough at the time. The hunts were called off due to safety concerns of so many people out with guns in the night. Some men killed a bobcat and claimed it was the beast, but most said it was too small to have inflicted the wound the beast's victim suffered. Another man, Bruce Souls, said he'd hit a large spotted cat with his vehicle on his way out of Bladenboro and took it home to Tabor City, claiming its weight to be close to 90 pounds. Many speculated on the true identity of the creature, whether wolf, bear, or cougar, but the weirdest thing of all was that most of its victims had very little blood left in them, which makes the last few theories even more bizarre. Some said it was a wolverine. Wolverines are frightening enough without being vampire wolverines. Another said it was a wild police dog. Perhaps it took the whole take a bite at a crime thing too seriously. And finally, one man suggested the beast was none other than a German Shepherd Hound mix he'd given to a Native American boy who lived down along the edge of Big Swamp, a good 20 miles from Bladenboro. Big Boy was the dog's name, and it was dark with a bushy tail, could leap over a 6-foot fence, and killed chickens from time to time. But what would make Big Boy go vampire and then stop? Whatever it was, we may never know the true nature of the beast of Bladenboro. Or if those smaller tracks mean more beasts might still stalk the swamps and woods near Bladenboro. So beware, if you're ever in that part of the country and you hear a baby crying. Bye, y'all.
That was certainly some howling.
That was kind of tame, I think.
It's my turn now. Let's take a look at my Madlib. My Madlib tonight is called Dungeon Detention. And it's in the style of a spaghetti western. The spaghetti western is a name for a broad subgenre of western-style films that emerged in the 1960s. The term was coined by the Spanish journalist Alfonso Sanchez due to the fact that most of the films were produced and directed by Italian filmmakers. The majority of the films in the spaghetti western genre were actually international co-productions by Italy and Spain, and sometimes France, West Germany, Britain, Portugal, Greece, Israel, Yugoslavia, and the United States. With over 600 European westerns made between 1960 and 1978, the genre proved to be very popular. Spaghetti westerns were originally released in Italian or with Italian dubbing, but because most of the films featured multilingual casts and sound was usually post-synced, most of the films in this genre do not actually have an official language. Typically, these films were produced with a low budget and shot at Cinecittà Studios and at various locations around southern Italy and Spain. Many of the stories take place in the arid climates of the American Southwest and northern Mexico. Tabernas Desert and the Cabo de Gata-Níjar National Park were common filming locations because the topography matched the setting so well. Sergio Leone, an Italian filmmaker, is widely regarded as the father of the genre, and also one of the most influential filmmakers in cinema history. His takes on the Western genre have often been described as having eschewed, criticized, or even demythologized the conventions of traditional American Westerns. While part of this was intentional, it is also due to the context of a different cultural background working its way into his art. Some of the most well-known Westerns in cinema history were born out of this genre, and many were created by Leone himself. A Fistful of Dollars from 1964 featured Clint Eastwood as the man with no name, a drifter anti-hero with only profit on his mind, a subversion of the American model of the hero versus the bad guys. This film, as well as many under Leone's direction, featured main characters with questionable morals, or with clever, subversive ways of achieving their goals. A Fistful of Dollars was the first in a trilogy of films, followed by A Few Dollars More, and concluding with one of the most famous westerns ever made, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Focusing on the man with no name's journey to amass wealth by any means necessary, even if those means are questionable or downright wrong. However, the end does show that he is not entirely without a conscience. Some movies in the genre that were not commercially successful at the time of their release have become cult films, such as Metallo, Blind Man, and Cutthroats 9. Others have drawn inspiration from mythologies such as Fedra West and Johnny Hamlet, which drew inspiration from Greek myths and the works of Shakespeare. In any case, spaghetti westerns have left their mark on the film industry. Tarantino's Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight are excellent examples, as well as films like Back to the Future Part 3, which makes many references to Leone's Dollars trilogy. So whether you're a fan of Clint Eastwood or just westerns in general, you owe it to yourself to take in some of these great films. In the meantime, please enjoy this Madlib with art in the style of a spaghetti western. Did you know that school-age vervet monkeys were even given detention back in the vivacious medieval times?
That doesn't look particularly medieval to me, but
Well, remember, it's a spaghetti western. So it's medieval times as interpreted through a spaghetti western.
and that is one little monkey.
He's tiny. He's so cute, though. And he's like just chilling and hanging out with his sunglasses and his cowboy hat.
Like he's like a little monkey sheriff.
I know. It's like you look like a sheriff. But instead of classroom, detentions were held in an underground room.
Are you kidding? I gave you the word room.
Yes, you gave me the room.
How
the word room.
perfect! Because that's one of those words I'm like, this could go well or be totally lame, and I finally gave it to you and exactly where it needed to be.
So here they are having detention in their underground room.
Which has like cobwebs hanging from
Right.
the ceiling.
And a little
It's like the ceiling might be
blackboard.
rotting.
Yeah, but they have a blackboard so they can do their studies, in spaghetti western medieval world.
They're all in their cowboy hats.
It was pitch black because there were no bubbles to let in sunlight.
I'm sorry. There's some stuff going on with that face. Looks like Travis has been at him.
Googly eyes.
Yeah. Look at that red googly eyes, and he's kind of got like a bunny nose.
Oh, I didn't notice a bunny nose. You're right. Now this one, the text alone in this one is kind of funny. You could hear sounds of hungry little kitties scurrying in the corners, as well as the dripping of blue milk from the ceiling.
That is an interesting interpretation.
It's cowboy
Wait,
kitty.
is this is the second, animal cowboy that we've had. So that's I mean, because I mean, obviously,
But I like this one. It was I mostly chose this one because they made the cat into a cowboy, which I thought was really cool. But also the drippy blue everywhere is really cool. The really heavy influence of blue is really nice. I like that. Students were chained by their nose hairs to the walls.
ooh, I had Big Red in my mouth. That could have been bad. It's better than I expected and worse than I expected.
Yeah, this is the closest it got to actually showing someone chained by their face. Most of them just had them standing in chains.
This looks almost like one of those like closets that have like the panel doors, and they've just kind of basically cut a head hole through it, and you put your head through, and then you're just, I guess, attached by your nose hairs.
Detentions were overseen by Dark Lord Ryan. Ooh, spooky.
Very cryptic. Yeah, that's kind of sinister.
Yeah, I love it. I really love this one. And you can't tell if he's walking towards you or away from you, but I assume the way you can see like the belts that he's walking towards you. But then the top half of his head, or the like where his face would be, is just like a black mass, so you don't know what he looks like.
The brim of his hat would have to be extra low, I feel like.
It probably is. But if you were ever wondering what he looked like, he wore a black thought over his face and had a freakishly scarred head and warts all over his abnormally large cans. There's Dark Lord Ryan.
Oh boy, I think I like him in silhouette. So much better.
Like, I don't know what's going on with his left hand. It's like at the wrist it just turns into a tarantula or something. I don't know. I thought that sentence was funny because cans is usually a euphemism for his butt, or breasts or butt.
Or, yeah. It is interesting. It does kind of give us a kind of a, well, for lack of a better thing, kind of like a ghoul.
Yeah, like a Wild West ghoul. Was the Dark Lord an itty bitty freak?
Oh my God. It looks a little bit like Timothy Oliphant in Deadwood to me, except for he's a lot darker. And it's like a stretch toy, sort of.
It does kind of remind me of a stretch toy, or one of those toys with the wire inside that you can bend and put the body into whatever shape you want by bending it. Did he just dress this way to keep students on their best ginormous behavior? He's fabulous!
You know what? He'd be like a character in there, like he'd be this total dandy. Everybody thinks he's a total pushover, and he's like, gritting your like. I didn't even see him draw, and they're all dead. You know.
Those average enough to get stuck in detention with the Dark Lord fared well when they remembered this important tip. He gave me weird clown cow.
Yeah, totally, definitely clown cow. It also gives me like a little bit of like a Chinatown vibe.
Yeah, I was gonna say very Chinatown, Saigon, very like Blade Runner. Blade Runner had this look where everything was sort of Asian and raining all the time. So, what was the tip, you ask? Keep your toes open and your grin shut.
Oh, well, he's doing one of them. Oh gosh, why does this
Have
feel
you
like a
have you ever
dog?
run so fast that your toes split in two? It's like he's trying to catch his own foot.
Maybe they meant the toes of your shoe.
Yeah, maybe,
'Cause
but
keep your
it
toes open.
certainly looks like those shoes are like highlighting his toes, or some way. I don't know. It's weird.
But he
but-
did not shut his grin. So.
No, he didn't. But I mean, would you be able to shut your grin if you were trying to chase down your own foot? You ready for some honorable mentions?
Oh yeah, I can't. I hope you have one of these in there.
Okay, here we go. Oh, this is the bubbles. It's pitch black because there were no bubbles to let in sunlight.
It doesn't look particularly pitch black.
No, but I mean, the bubbles are there. They're letting in lots of sunlight. Another interesting thing is the building on the left-hand side. There's a sign that almost looks like it says HEB.
Oh. Yeah, and it's red.
Yep, it's the heat. For those of you watching from other places than Texas, HEB is a pretty big grocery chain down here, and it's very well loved by everyone who lives here. So it's very exciting when people know what HEB is. All right, let's move forward, shall we? Here's the next one. Oh yes, this is the blue milk and the kitties in the corner. Hungry little kitties scurrying in the corners.
And they've got some king cake.
Right? And this one literally has blue milk dripping because it's dripping off of their hats, it's dripping down at the table, it's dripping into their glasses. It's just blue milk everywhere.
I love this.
This is the same thing. This was the weirdest one I got. It's like a bunch of ghost cats flying around the room.
And the blue milk is sort of almost like a metaphor rather than
Yeah, it's just
actual.
like blue, like weird fabric hanging down. Ectoplasm. It's blue ectoplasm with all the ghostly cats. That students were chained to the wall by their nose hair.
And we still got that dungeon vibe going.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's very much a dungeon.
That also still looks a little bit like Carl.
Yeah, now this one was interesting because it was black and white. I didn't get a lot of black and whites in this set, but this one came out black and white, and I just thought the aesthetic of that was really nice. And it almost looks like they're just lined up to be, for the executioner. The detentions were overseen by Dark Lord Ryan.
Okay. Is he?
There's apparently three of
Is he a
them.
trinity? It's like,
There's apparently three of them, and they're from hell because they just burn everything in their wake.
it's like Ghost Rider sort of.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe it gave me too. It's like Ghost Rider or some sort of like cowboy fairy tale about like the trio of demon cowboys or demon sheriffs that wander the road. Oh yes, this one was horrifying, and I don't know why it gave me this. I don't know why it gave me this. This was he wore a black thought over his face and had a freakishly scarred head and warts all. Oh, actually, I see why it gave me that. Warts all over his abnormally large cans.
But there's these gashes in them, and like there are several people who look very like zombies. Like all of them.
And then there's like splashes of blood all over the table, which is really, really creepy. Yeah, it's one of the weirder ones that I got.
And maybe all of these people got turned into zombies like
In
en
detention.
masse.
The prompt that gave me this one is hilarious. Was the Dark Lord an itty bitty freak?
Apparently not.
Apparently not. No. It's like
is
it's
that
just
a fanny pack?
is it a fanny pack or is that
Or
like
a
the rest of
codpiece?
the rest of his body? And that's it. That's the end of my Madlib for tonight.
All right.
Okay, well, that is going to do it for tonight's episode of MIdJourney Madlibs. Thank you for coming by and watching the video. Brent, thank you for hosting this with me. As always, it's a blast.
It was definitely a blast, and despite our many setbacks today, we persevered.
Yes. We are both very tired and very exhausted and very frustrated. But you know what? It's okay. The show must go on, right?
And tomorrow's Friday.
That's right. Sure is. Well, we're going to get out of here, guys. Thank you for coming by again. Make sure you click on like and subscribe before you leave. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And we will see you on Thursday.
Like and subscribe.
The algorithm demands it.